Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are live casting the Dota 2 Season 4 Grand Finals between Sequential Gaming and Infernity Gaming. The New Zealand squad, Sequential Gaming, the captain Fumoffu, said they have two stand-ins today, Godot and T-Duck from Natural 9. The new Natural 9 roster, although I think they're still tweaking the roster. I'm not sure if it's finalized, but for now, Godot and T-Duck, both from that lineup, going to be standing in the Australian players for this New Zealand squad. On the Radiant side this time around, Infernity Gaming, they hail from the Czech Republic, a team I had not seen anything of before the series. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 1-0 advantage for Sequential Gaming. They need one more to close this best of 3 out. If Infernity Gaming can take this one, we will head to a climactic game number 3. I am your host, LD of dotacommentaries.com. And if it worked for them the first time, why not do it again? It's an Invoker, and in fact, they're going to first pick it. Heroes like Morphling are in the pool. Let's see, what else is available? Carry-wise, there's the Morphling, there's the Lone Druid. Of course, Tidehunter gets the ban. Leshrac is around. He's kicking, and he was pretty effective last game. Sand King, probably not here as we'd see picked up at this stage of the draft, but definitely in the second and third picks could look to make a sort of an entrance here. Leshrac will be the first choice. What are they going to follow this up with? That's the big question for me. The Sand King, if they want to go for it now, is an option. Prophet was banned out. Who is available this game? It's been a while since I've cast Dota 2. I'm used to casting GST Dota 1 at this point, so try to sort of get my mind wrapped around Dota 2 again. Morphling for me might be the big one here. It didn't work for Infernity last time around, but maybe if they just provide a little support to the Morphling in the first few levels. No, they go for the aggressive dual lane here, the Chaos Knight, the Leshrac. Now we could see this run as a tri-lane, we could see someone else supporting the Chaos Knight, but generally these two will be dual laning together. And if you can't beat an Invoker solo, the next best thing is going to be to dual lane against him. So, Leshrac, Chaos Knight, Chaos Bolt, and Reality Rift to set up that split Earth. Godot will not be able to play as aggressive as he wants if it's a Godot Invoker. It could be Godot handling the Chen, and then Fumoffu playing the Invoker. Now, we saw Godot's Invoker, very strong, very exciting to watch last game, but Fumoffu, I gotta say, has a hell of an Invoker too. So we'll see what he wants to do with this. But for now, it's an Invoker Chen pickup. Pretty good defensive lineup, a lineup that needs a lot of levels off the bat, though. Chen needs to hit 6. Invoker, hell, he wants to hit level 11 or even higher before he's ready to go. Maybe they'll go for a very durable carry like a Morphling. Indeed, they will. And then the question becomes, what is the reply going to be from Infernity Gaming? How are they going to try and deal with this Morphling? Right now, they simply don't have the burst damage. Shadow Demon could help. TA is going to be the choice. So there's your burst damage, a strong solo mid. And so far, I'm not sure we're going to see a solo mid TA this game. We could, but they could also run the Chaos Knight Leshrac, and frankly, I gotta say, TA generally can win that matchup or at least break even, but the way Godot was playing Invoker, if he's the one handling it again, I'm not sure that they can beat his Invoker. He was just too good. It's one of these things where sometimes a player just gets really hot. You see it all the time in pro sports, especially in a game like basketball. You know, a player just gets on a streak, and you just have to double team him. It doesn't matter if it means that their other players are getting open. You have to take away their one weapon, the one way that they're beating you, and force them to beat you some way else. They may do it. They may beat you using another method. But if you let them continue to wail away at you in a one-on-one situation with a matchup that's working for them, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're forfeiting the game. Broodmother would have been a great choice against this lineup. They do have some AoE in the Morphling, but they banned out Tidehunter. They already banned out Darkseer. This is a very smart ban from Sequential Gaming's captain, Fumoffu. And how will Gallic respond? It looks like they need at least a support, maybe a... They could run Leshrac as one of their supports, maybe pick up a jungling hero like Enigma, and then pick your offlane. Right now they're lacking that. Windrunner is probably the best offlane available. Queen of Pain is an option here. But up against a hero like Morphling, when they both have about the same auto attack range, Queen of Pains is a bit higher, but it's not that 600 range, and Morphling can close the gap really quickly with Waveform. And generally, I'm going to say, especially protecting that safe lane, it's just a matchup that Queen of Pain's really going to struggle with. So we'll see. Those would be the two big offlane options that are coming to mind. Beastmaster is in the pool, and actually, that wouldn't be a bad choice for either of these teams, because neither one has their offlane here right now. But you could see some sort of a tri-lane with the Morphling. So far, they don't appear to be headed in that direction. Not a tri-lane, but a dual lane with the Morphling, I should say. Enigma will be the choice. Probably, I'm guessing an off-lane Enigma, a solo mid Invoker, a safe lane Morphling, and then something to support him. Maybe a Sand King would be the option here. for sequential gaming. For Infernity, much is still to be decided. Could be the Leshrac Chaos Knight dual lane, a TA getting some safe farm. I have seen TA thrown into the off lane occasionally. Well, it's an Enchantress, so jungle Enchantress. I guess they're just going to pick an off lane and then run a safe lane Leshrac Chaos Knight, a solo mid Templar Assassin. And we'll have to see how well it works. Last game, that Invoker just could not be slowed down. TA versus Invoker, I would say is pretty comparable to Morphlane versus Invoker. Maybe TA is a little bit stronger, but it's not an overwhelmingly stronger matchup for him. The difference this game is there's a jungler available for both teams. Enchantress, very strong, offensive, aggressive jungler early on. Chen going to sort of want to sit back and take things a little bit slower, but has that similar firepower in the mid game to just bring those at that +2, 3 creeps to the table to heal as well. Send Morphling back if he gets into trouble. But when you have heroes like Enchantress, Chaos Knight, Leshrac, TA, you want to be aggressive, you want to kill early and often. And it makes sense. It's a team from the Czech Republic. It's not quite in the heartland of the CIS, but it's heading in that direction. So we're seeing a little bit of that Eastern European flavor so far. The aggressive heroes, the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight to me is the Central Europe or Eastern European hero in the scene. Just such an aggressive, tanky hero. How many times have we seen art style just diving past tier 3s, going for kills all over the map? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this lineup needs to be aggressive early. If they get to the mid to late game, the way they're constructed, and they haven't gained an advantage. They don't have the team fight of sequential gaming. And frankly, the Morphling and the Invoker combo should be able to outcarry a TA Chaos Knight unless those heroes have an advantage. TA Chaos Knight, on the other hand, very momentum-based heroes. They can snowball incredibly well. And they definitely have heroes that can be successful with aggression. But they need to find those openings. So we'll see if they run the safe lane Chaos Knight Leshrac and it's an off-lane Enigma, which it looks like it will be. It's going to be a Morphling Shadow Shaman dual lane, Invoker solo mid, a Chen in the defensive jungle, and Enigma in the offlane. Enigma offlane, he's very good at controlling the lane, but he's very squishy and easily ganked. He doesn't have the mobility of a hero like Queen of Pain, or the escapability of a Windrunner. If you come around with a backstab with the Enchantress, maybe a smoke gank, Leshrac, Chaos Knight, Enchantress can easily get that kills, and whoa. I said they didn't have the late game, guys, but apparently this squad disagrees with me. Wow. They go for an Outworld Destroyer, so they now have 4 heroes that need a lot of farm. 3 that really need a lot of farm. The Chaos Knight, the TA, the Outworld Destroyer. Well, TA doesn't need a ton. Chaos Knight doesn't need a ton, but they would like to farm a lot. I mean, these heroes can go aggressive with the basic items, but ideally, you want to get up that next level of items. The Blink Dagger on the TA, the drums, the power treads, the bottle on the Chaos Knight, and then look towards things like the Daedalus, the Desolator, or in the case of the Chaos Knight, the Mantle Style, the Heart of Taras, the Armlet. So this lineup can fight pretty early. They scale pretty well late game, but they need a lot of farm. They need a lot of levels. And as we look towards team fights, what does this lineup have to team fight against the Black Hole, against the Wards, against Invoker's AoE, the Chen heals? Hell, Morphling's not a bad team fighter either with the waveform. They really can't fight in 5v5 unless they have an advantage, whether it comes from levels or it comes from items. But what they have going for them is aggression, and then the late game damage potential. So now this throws a monkey wrench into our lanes. What are we going to see? I guess it's going to be an offensive tri-lane with the Enchantress, the Chaos Knight, the Leshrac. It's going to be a TA, maybe a TA solo bottom and then an OD mid. The problem with OD, his weakness as a hero, is he's just very squishy. He's got Astral Imprisonment, decent defensive ability, but generally speaking, if you're getting ganked, Astral Imprisonment only delays the inevitable. Unless you have a TP or a smoke gank coming in to support you, it doesn't really win you that fight. So TA is going to be heading bottom, going for that same poor man shield build we saw last game. Let's introduce the players as well. Gore, going to be handling the TA. Idefix, going to be playing the Chaos Knight. Viho Feed, going to be playing the Obsidian Destroyer. Looks like he will be going mid. Rebo on the Enchantress. And finally, Gallic, the Captain, going to be playing that Leshrac. Meanwhile, over on the sequential gaming side, we have VDK playing the Enigma. Fumoffu. This time it will be Fumoffu handling the Invoker, and godot the Chen. So hey, I got something right, guys. I got at least one thing right in this cast. T-Duck going to be playing the Shadow Shaman. Cux on the Morphling. And they're running the offensive tri-lane, but they're doing it against a Morphling, who's a very strong hero to have when you're up against the tri-lane. Are they running it? I think they are, but they're sort of... it looks like they're going to go check the rune.
30 seconds to battle.
The Shadow Shaman, the Chen, can be picked off, but good wards will really mitigate the potential. If they want to run an offensive tri-lane, they're going to make sure they need to keep the enemy team in the dark. They did a decent job of it last game. Do they have sentry wards? No, just observers. This is going to be tough. They're going to have to buy a pair of sentries very quickly. Or Shadow Shaman and Chen can just double jungle together. You can pull the safe camp over here. And if sure, you can try and gank this. You have Enchantress in the jungle. But if you're doing that, that really frees up the Morphling in the lane. And with the wards, they can simply back off.
Illusion.
T-Duck grabs an illusion rune, snags that one, if you will, and now he's going to head into the jungle. And this could be trouble. No, very good decision there. Well, especially with the ward. But even if you have a ward there, you still have to be careful about smoke. So running up that hill, really at any stage of the game, but especially before the enemies show themselves, is quite dangerous. Having the vision, seeing them there, he will back off, go the long way around. Morphling may not farm, so then we have to look at the other. Where's the farm going to come from? Middle lane, it's Invoker up against OD. Pretty even matchup in this lane. Both the heroes are going to have a lot of damage. Early on, as OD levels, he can steal a lot of intelligence from that Invoker with Astral Imprisonment. Looks like that will be the skill choice for him. I cast a game pretty recently with an OD where he went for an early point in the orb and maxed the passive and only took a few points in Astral Imprisonment. But generally what we see is getting a lot of points in Astral Imprisonment early, maxing Essence Aura, ASAP, and offensive jungle is already sort of being driven out here. Rebo's forced back. He's wasting a lot of time, whereas for Godot, he drives the Enchantress out and he doesn't have a long way to go. He can quickly return to his jungle. And the lack of sentry wards is really limiting what this Enchantress can do right now. But yeah, that middle lane, I'd say pretty even. Bottom lane, Enigma will definitely have an ability to remove the refraction charges. That comes from the Eidolon, just the massive number of damage sources that he brings to the table. Plus the Malefice with the multiple stuns. Refraction defensively won't do too much, but Sideblades choose through the Eidolons, or the demonic conversions as they're known in Dota 2. And Enigma is rather squishy. So overall, I would say this matchup pretty even, the mid matchup pretty even. Wouldn't give a clear advantage to either hero. It really will come down to the two jungler players. Rebo only level 1. Chen already Godot. One of his great strengths as a jungler is that he hits level 2 very early. He's very good, not just hitting level 2, but he's just very good at leveling in general. Rebo steals the Satyr Hellcaller and then the cheeky counter steal. And without the sentry wards, Enchantress has to leave that jungle, which means this is going to be very difficult now. Chaos Knight getting good farm so far, but with Enchantress out of the jungle, as soon as this camp gets dewarded, and you got to figure sentry wards will be the next item of choice for T-Duck in about 10 gold. They can deward that camp, they can start pulling, and Chaos Knight Leshrac as a two-hero combo up against Chen, up against Morphling, and up against Shadow Shaman. Those three together should be able to really shut down the aggression and probably zone the Chaos Knight out of lane. Rebo's still only level 1. Godot has just done a masterful job. It's one of these things you're not going to scream about it, you're not going to go crazy about it, but it has a huge impact on the game. Godot probably about to hit level 3, in fact he's already done so. And that means that he's going to hit 5 quickly, then he'll have multiple creeps, his creep army will never die. Enchantress can try and steal them, but that's about it. And then he gets 6 quickly, and once he gets 6, this lineup, they're built around early lane control, they're built around quick hero kills. And so far they're not doing it. I think the better choice here is going to be to go for bottom lane, where Enigma is pretty much by himself, but he's maybe angling towards mid. Invoker can be brought down. Could go for a point in Wex. We saw it last game from Godot, a very early point in Wex, just to get access to Ghostwalk, as well as that Alacrity ability, just to give you a little bit of extra auto attack damage, knock down the tower a bit quicker.
Regeneration.
So we'll see if he goes for that once he hits level 5. Enchantress. The one thing about ganking Enigma is because he's constantly denying the creeps, and TA has the splash damage from Sideblades, it makes it harder to gank this lane. You're constantly pulling the lane back with the demonic conversions, you're constantly pushing the lane on the part of the TA. Pretty passive start to this game, guys. So far, just not too much happening. Both teams just farming up, and overall, I think neither team is going to be displeased with this. The Dire squad, the Radiant squad, they have a lot of late game damage potential with the OD. Even the Leshrac is a support. The Chaos Knight and the TA. This lineup desperately wants to get levels and farm. At the same time, sequential gaming does too. So I would say no clear advantage. But the big concern for me is that Chen had such a fast start. Godot already about to hit level 5. He's going to have 2 creeps soon, and he can just group up top with these 2 supports and start pressuring the lane. Leshrack's Edict is not going to do anything against those creeps. 1 second stun. Oh, if it was 2 seconds, they could have tried to make a go here. I don't think they get the kill there, but they could at least force the Morphling to chew through his consumables. Is he trying to save for Reign of Health? It's not clear yet, but Cuck's sitting on a decent chunk of change and not spend it yet. Generally, if you're not going for Reign of Health, they'll get an early bottle at this point when they're up against the harassment, just so that you can spam that waveform and get some HP regen as well. You can even do some bottle crowing, depending on how badly your team needs the cur. And Godot with his patented Chen, he's got the 1 creep. He's not actually going to bottle 2. There's the Sunstrike. There's the waveform. And Golik will be your first blood. They're not done yet. Is there going to be a net coming off cooldown? 10 seconds to go. That'll be it. Chaos Knight gallops out of there. He'll survive. But the first blood coming from the Invoker, the burst damage, just too much. Easily did half the health of Leshrack, and that's what happens when the Enchantress is forced out of that offensive jungle. You're running a tri-lane, but it's no longer a tri-lane. It's an offensive dual lane, which isn't really strong defensively. Leshrack, a very squishy support. You don't have the defensive capabilities of an ability like Fissure, even a Venomous Gale from, or the Vision from Plague Wards. And Vision won't help you anyway, but this is what they want to do. This is what they should be doing, is diving this Enigma bottom lane. There's your meld crit. Decent damage coming out. The trap gets dropped, and this should be a kill. No! Black Hole catches too! Oh, will there be any follow-up? Is there Sunstrike? Rebo's gonna go down, tries to remove that tower aggro. Not able to do so. But Enchantress, the struggles continue. She does get a kill. They force out a Black Hole, and the TA survives. So it's not a bad trade. But when you have a 2-on-1 like that, and especially when you have this burst damage, you really don't want to give any kills up. Oh man, that Black Hole. That was just like a screw it, man. If I'm going down, you're coming with me kind of Black Hole. Here comes another gank from Godot. The first one was very effective. Can he do it again? OD has already used Astral Imprisonment. If he uses it again, he is absolutely screwed. Godot waiting in the wings, circling around, looking for the opening. Sunstrike is here. Sunstrike will follow, probably after the net. No, Astral Imprisonment. Oh, he is so screwed. He is so dead. And there's your disables. An easy kill picked up. OD is going to take a fall mid lane. Now, Godot already being level 5, the push can commence. The Skeleton Warriors, they actually have incredibly high base damage. They're very squishy, they're very frail, they die quickly, but 24 damage, even more than regular melee creeps. And top lane, not any aggression on the Morphling. This is the beauty of running that Morphling in a side lane, is unlike a lot of other heroes, he doesn't need help. We saw in this lane, Leshrack can't leave Chaos Knight alone. He's got to be there to help him. Morphling is absolutely fine, even if they try and kill him. There's basically zero chance they bring him down. They might drive him back, but they're not going to kill him. Which frees up the supports to go roaming, to go pushing in the middle lane. Creep stolen by Enchantress, immediately stolen back by Chen. And with that early point of Wex, you not only get Ghostwalk, you also get Alacrity. And the Enchantress, oh, that's going to be trouble. Astral Imprisonment, the Wisps will heal her back up. No, actually not healing her up. I guess you don't get healed when you're in Astral Imprisonment. That is rather unfortunate. She will survive, though. Sunstrike has been invoked, but no mana to use it. He wanted to go on that Enchantress. So that's interesting. I'm learning something new with this one. I thought the Wisp would continue to heal you while you're inside Astral Imprisonment, but apparently I was wrong. Could have ended badly, but in the end it works out. So Black Hole was used, only a minute off cooldown. TA getting good farm this game, opted for a bottle, phase boots, and a poor man. She had a lot of items before going for the blink. So in spite of having that solo lane, the blink won't be coming up for at least 3 to 4 minutes. One of the big things for me right now is I want to see the Shadow Shaman hit level 6 for the Dire side. Once he gets level 6, you already have a very highly leveled Chen. Godot's probably going to go for a fast mech. Could go for Arcane Boots just to allow the other heroes to spam their spells. But either way, he's going to have some item that helps his team push. And if you combo that up with the Shadow Shaman hit level 6, they can knock down a tower pretty much every time that the wards are up. And if you look at this Radiant squad, one of their big weaknesses is going to be, where's the spam going to come from? Where's the anti-push? Leshrack has actually, I haven't had a chance to look at his abilities yet, but he's entirely skipped Edict. This is how they want to try and stop the push. But Lightning alone is not enough, especially with the Chen heal from the ult coming through, maybe the mech as well. And just all the AoE from sequential gaming, they could just outpush you. You can fight fire with fire, but if you have a flamethrower and they're dealing with a lighter, well, guess who's going to win? It's not going to be the lighter. Let me tell you guys that one right now. Idefix diving deep for this. Hexed up, netted in place. Where's that Split Earth? Sunstrike not going to hit. Split Earth will, but in fact, Sunstrike is going to hit. What am I talking about? And Chaos Knight is going to go down. Yep, he's going to fall. Fumoffu just in the right place at the right time with these sun strikes. And this aggressive tri-lane, not only was Enchantress driven out of the jungle, but they go ganking, and whenever you gank deep into the enemy jungle against a highly leveled Chen, if you run into him and he's got any support, especially with Exhort and Invoker on the map, it's probably going the other way. And now when this lineup gets a kill, they can go push. They don't have level 6 on Shadow Shaman, but just the spam from Waveform and the Aether Shock should be enough. Leshrac sitting on no boots. I talked about it last game that support Leshrac can be very detrimental to the team if he doesn't have a good start. Just so squishy and up against so much burst damage, good initiation range coming in from Malefice, coming from the Waveform. And they can't contest this. If they even get near the tower, they will die. So they sit back, they let the tower fall. Chaos Knight farming okay, but only level 5. And here comes the dive bottom lane. VDK, is he going to go for the black hole again? He is! He catches 2! There's your Sunstrike! And in fact, this might be a double kill! It will be! Oh, they try to dive VDK. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me, or me. Shame, only twice, shame on you. Either way. Someone's feeling some shame right now, guys, right? that's one thing we can say for sure. Now he's got the Blink Dagger up if he wants to rush it. So that could be a mech for him, it could be a Blink Dagger. Godot's already got the Arcane Boots. All the core items coming online for this team very quickly in short order. And here comes the TP. Fumoffu does not have access to Ghostwalk right now, but with that point in Wex, 2 orbs of Wex picked up, should be able to just make it out of there safely. Yeah, honestly, for sequential gaming, I would love to see some Necrobooks this game. I would love to see maybe Invoker go for a Necrobook, maybe the Enigma go for one. I don't really see a way for this team to deal with mass Necrobooks right now. There's not much anti-push, and even if they kill them, they're squishy. They don't have those important support items up. There's no mech in sight. There's no pipe in sight for this team. They have a lot of heroes that want to farm. They have a lot of carries. They don't really have good candidates to carry the mech, aside from the Enchantress, who can be killed off so easily. I think if you just get mass Necrobook, you could just win the game that way. Now, I don't expect to see it, but when you have so much push potential, and you do have decent late game through the Morphling, I think it would be a nice change of pace, but we'll see. It's probably going to be a Force Staff or a Yule Scepter. This is going to be fun. So, some cute combos you can do with this Yule Scepter. Use your Yules, then drop a Sunstrike, then invoke Deafening Blast and invoke Meteor, or have one of them already invoked. And then you just drop the other 2 as well, the Meteor and the Deafening Blast, as soon as the hero comes down in the Yule Scepter. And then you're hitting them with the instant pure damage from the Sunstrike. The Meteor will hit as well, but this is a... Speaking of that combo, you can't use it if you're dead, and Fumoffu is dead. They find a kill, DD on the OD. Nice job there, imprisoning Fumoffu and killing him off. But Yule Scepter can be very nice for getting solo kills, and we saw it last game. The Meteor is actually pretty good against TA. Just a lot of damage over time. So far, TA getting close to the Blink Dagger, not fight it yet. Infernity Gaming does seem to sense that they need to find something to happen. So even though they have all these carries, the teamfight items are going to be a problem. But T-Duck gets caught out. Ward Trap! No, not a Ward Trap, but there's the Sunstrike, and Chaos Knight will take a fall. TA comes in. This is the kind of fight she wants. Blink away from the Enigma. Is there going to be away from the wards? Almost instantly removing that refraction. Godot sort of fishing around for an opening tornado. That is the saddest tornado you ever see. This Invoker not doing his heavy lifting, disrupted by the OT. I think he could have actually gotten away there. Split Earth, no, just the lightning, not the Split Earth. He will go down. Now TA in the thick of this fight. Fumoffu takes a fall as well. The Imp doing too much damage. Step activates, but he will not be in time. And these chaotic fights are definitely going to favor Infernity Gaming. Sequential Gaming, they want nice structured, orderly team fights. They want everyone to group up as 5. They want to drop the black hole when heroes get low. They want to drop the heal. But if they get spread out and picked off one by one, Enchantress, Impetus, TA just feasts off of that. And of course, Chaos Knight is pretty happy in that situation too. So the more chaotic these fights are, the better they'll go for Infernity. But if sequential gaming are just grouped up as 5, that fight doesn't go nearly as poorly as it did. A good fight, but the early blink on the Enigma is here. There's your Yule Scepter, so in spite of a death here or there, the mech is coming soon for Godot. A lot of items that are going to make this next round of team fights just much more difficult to take. It's a significant lead, but not an overwhelming run right now for sequential gaming. Gold-wise, experience-wise, about 3-4k on both of those counts. It's something you kind of come back from, and again, keep in mind, Infernity Gaming has amazing burst damage, and this might be a kill. Are we going to see an epic black hole? This time, I don't think it's going to matter. Blinks away, but the TA is here. to continue the chase. The splitter does need to land. He's going to go for a TP out, I believe he is. The trap scouts him out. It'll only be an astral imprisonment. Not needed. The splitter finishes that one off. Shrek cleans it up. But 4 heroes required to gank this Enigma. He has definitely been a slippery guy this game. Very difficult to track down. And meanwhile, I'm loving the way that Sequential Gaming is running their Exhort Invoker. Although this game, it's not going to be the early Forge Spirit, it's just going to be the max Exhort. Fumoffu, all about the damage, all about the flash. Here, just going for the big AoE splash. Wants to drop some bombs. Not interested in sort of the stable, solid play that the double Forge Spirits brings to the table. It does limit his pushing potential a little bit. You get a little more damage coming from the Exhort, but having 2 Forge Spirits is going to do a lot more for you on that count. The way things are progressing, Infernity Gaming, they're on the back foot. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Sequential Gaming group up yet. Maybe they were waiting for this mech. Now they've got it. The mech, the Yule Scepter, the blink on the Enigma, the Glyph is forced. Oh, they want to fight this one. Enigma's alive. He's charging in. He's got the blink. Who's going to start the fight up? Godot wants to bait this one. He's in the front lines, and very wisely, I feel. Infernity will back off, but they catch out Rebo. This is the saddest Enchantress I've seen in a while. Oh, there's your net, and she is dead. Yep, easy kill picked up on her. Meanwhile, Cuck's frantically trying to push out the top lane. And he's going to force the TPs back, or at least the rotation. Infernity Gaming, I mentioned that they're pretty good in these chaotic team fights. They're a lineup that does well in sort of locally chaotic games. But when the map is Morphling, they don't have any sort of global mobility. They don't have Wind Run. They don't have multiple force stabs up. There's no heroes with Blink. We're not seeing an anti-mage this game, and they don't really have the best time to deal. But anyway, oh god, Shrek, look at the burst damage. So much pure damage coming from the Test of Faith, the Sunstrike, and then if you need it, just a couple of auto attacks as well. That'll claim the easy kill. Now they head into the Roshan pit. Look at this army. This is just an obnoxious ball of crap. Roshan doesn't like crap. That's why we see him chopping away at it. But he's also not too good at killing it off. Uh-oh. This could be bad. Really could have dove for that one. Knowing that his team's in the Roshan pit, though, he chooses to back off. I think we're going to see Shotgun this game. 2,900 gold on him. Aegis is going to be claimed by Fumoffu. Not seeing nearly as much farm as we saw in Invoker last game. Last game it was Godot, just absolutely filthy rich. The lead farmer for a gigantic chunk of the game, until eventually Anti-Mage got his Battle Fury and overcame that. We still haven't really seen a big black hole on multiple heroes this game. You know, and I still feel for Sequential Gaming, the potential their lineup hasn't been realized, but for Fumoffu, what is it with the players in this series? Just, once they get an Aegis, it's like, okay, time to throw this away, man. I don't know. Just one of those days, I guess. Here comes the combo, Deputy Blast, Sunstrike. Oh, man. And that's what I'm talking about, baby. That Yule Scepter is such a nice setup item for Exhort Invoker. Also gives him some much-needed mana regen. So if you're not going to go for an item like Force Staff or Blink Dagger, Dendy style, you might say, this is a good alternative. Morphling! Oh, boy. OD is a big, bad bird. I don't really know what kind of creature this qualifies as. It's sort of like an owl, but he's green. Anyway, he is a fearsome beast to behold. And I suppose on a more serious note, one mechanical thing that should be mentioned is that OD's Orb does pure damage. And the ult does magical damage. So between the two of those, that really punishes Morphling, who's generally relying on this high base armor coming from Morph, coming from his naturally high agility, to keep him alive in these fights. But the pure damage ignores that armor. So if you go heavily towards agility, if you go for Shotgun, that OD can really make you pay for it. A little bit of D-warding coming out from Shadow Shaman. Just trying to get some map control back. Roshan is not really important at this point since the Aegis was claimed and then promptly lost by Fumoffu. They really want to force a fight now, but ganking into this Enigma, I have a feeling we might be seeing a huge black hole, or maybe not. There's the trap. There's the Malphite. Here comes the TPs. The Chen heal. Will it be there? Black hole catches quite a few. Not enough, though, and now T-Duck the next in line. Will anyone fall? No, they all drop low. They all survived. The Chen heal there. If there was a heal, I feel that fight goes completely the other way. But they just weren't in position. I guess they didn't have a TP on the Invoker. Looks like Godot didn't have a TP either. And Chen TPing is... He's not the most effective hero to TP in. He can drop the mech. But they really needed the Morphling there as well, and it looks like his TP is on cooldown. Unfortunate, and I gotta say for Infernity Gaming, a little bit lucky. They catch out fumoffu now as well. Loses the Aegis, just not finding the same kind of success that Godot had last game on the Exhort Invoker. And if they get caught out like this, they're gonna start losing towers. Even with a lower level Edict, only 1 point in it. That's still enough to bring the tower down. The Shrek now hitting level 8, and a game that was looking pretty firmly in sqL's grasp is slowly starting to slip away from them. For anyone who's just tuning in, this is Infernity Gaming from the Czech Republic, up against Sequential Gaming, who hail from New Zealand. They have 2 stand-ins from Natural 9, formerly known as Absolute Legends, that being Godot and T-Duck. This is game number 2 of a best out of 3 for the G Dota Grand Finals for season number 4. Whoever wins this gets 400 euros. We're in game 2, and it is a 1-0 advantage right now for Sequential Gaming. And they had a very powerful start. They have a lineup where if they get a good start, you kind of think they can just sort of group up and ball up together and just push in mid. Here comes the combo on OD, needs to imprison, doesn't have it though. Deafening Blast is going to lock him down and prevent that, and that is a very easy kill. And now they can group up and push. I see no reason for them not to, even without the Black Hole. They've got the Shadow Shaman wards. They're still going to play it safe. These guys just do not want a team fight, despite having a lineup that's built for it. Okay, maybe they'll go for this instead. So they're not going to go for tier 2 mid. They're going to push bottom though, and as long as they're pushing something, I think anyone who's a fan of this team has to be happy. But to not push at all would be a little bit silly. Look how farm Godot is. The efficiency of him. He picked up a couple early ganks. We saw him smoke ganking effectively, setting up first blood for his team. We saw him smoke ganking again, getting another kill mid. We've seen him getting a quick mech for his team, already level 11, the level 2 heal. This is the mark of a professional, a top tier jungle player. Not only setting up the smoke ganks, not only finding the kills, but also just being very efficient with his time, getting his farm up as well. With the level 2 heal, going towards an Aghanims, and 2 smokes on him as well. He can just continue to do this all day long. The tier 1 mid is traded for the tier 1 bottom. Not a bad trade, but the problem's going to be if they start losing tier 2s right now. Again, this lineup, they need a lot of levels, they need a lot of farm. OD has gone for full support build, by the way. For some reason, I cannot click on the TA. So it looks like they're treating TA a little bit more as their damage there. And I did mention this team really needs a mech. OD can build it. Generally, you don't see much of this nowadays. He's normally played as a carry when he's played. But OD is definitely a great carrier for the mech. He has permanently full mana because of Essence Aura. The armor does help him deal with a hero like Morphling. And he already has pretty good damage potential even without a lot of items, just coming out from the Arcane Orb, his very strong intelligence growth. And now he's going back for the damage items and the utility items. The Force Staff is the first one in line. Side device might follow fumoffu, catch that one, but again, fumoffu fighting on his own, will find the solo kill, will pay for it though. And Leshrac from Invoker, not going to be a good trade, but Kux will replicate out of there. Now bottom lane, it's OD going down as well. And once this lineup gets a kill, the tower push will come in. There's not going to be a trade, at least not an easy one for Infernity. They're just not in position for this. They also, do they have TPs? No TP on Enchantress. Gore does have one. And the Chaos Knight going for a BKB, but forced back to base. Meanwhile, middle lane, Cuck's going to pressure that as well. So waste no time after dodging the gank, pushing in middle lane. Is it an Eye of Skady Rush? Is it a Lincoln Sphere? Is it a Manta style? It really could be any of those. Illusions are not normally too effective against OD. His ultimate does a lot of AoE damage. Templar Assassin also mows through them, and they can actually be turned against you if Psyblades ever splashes through one. And then the OD Orb as well really neuters those illusions. So I'm not sure Manta will be a great choice this game. There's no silences to remove. There's nothing like Cold Snap or Malefice that can be taken off. It's not a bad item. It would help them push a little bit more, but it's not a game where it offers much beyond sort of the standard obvious benefits. Eye of Skady, normally not an item you see players rush just because it gives you a lot of stats, but the ability that it gives you to slow enemy heroes down, it's nice, but normally you don't need it on Morphling. You already have Waveform to chase. You already have a lot of slows to follow up. It's an item that gives you a lot, but it doesn't give you any sort of utility. It doesn't give you an extra ability, like the spell block from Lincoln Sphere, like the evasion from Butterfly. So I don't think we're going to see that. And in fact, something's on the courier. What would that be? No, Lincoln Sphere. So goes for a very late Lincoln Sphere. And I actually like that quite a bit. Look at this lineup right now. What do they really have to go through it? Chaos Bolt, Reality Rift, that's 2. Then you have your OD Astral Imprisonment, that's 3. And that's it. There's only 3 abilities. So this is going to be very potent. This is one of the few games where Lincoln Sphere just is going to do so much for you. There's only a couple of ways to deal with the Morphling, aside from just right-clicking him, aside from the physical damage. And he can block at least one of them. The downside of this item is that generally you pick it up to go later, and do you really want to go late against a lineup that is so much damage and so many carries? CK getting close to BKB. There's a black hole, but aside from that, not many ways to deal with him. The OD, pretty naturally tanky. Probably going to go for Sight Device next. Could go for a BKB. TA getting close to a Daedalus. Infernity Gaming, I gotta say, they've played a little bit more composed in the mid game here. Last game we kind of saw them fall apart once they got off to a bad start, but so far, holding on, and in fact, they're the ones being aggressive right now. Doing some warding in the enemy jungle. Morphling is looking to push out mid, but he has got quite a fearsome force grouped up behind him. Completed drums on Godot, not going to go for the early Aghanims, going to go back for the drums. Just cost-effective stats, and where is that Sunstrike? Scouting out Roshan, which has not respawned just yet. Man, this is such a slow-paced game. You know, when you see a lineup that has an Enchantress, a Leshrac, a Chaos Knight, and a TA, you assume it's going to be one of these games where once, like, the 15-minute mark is hit, it's like the armistice is over, and everyone's just diving towers, everybody's going crazy. But this is, you know, this is not M5, this is not old Dare. This is a lineup that's playing things a little bit more patiently, I gotta say, and a little bit safer. So far, it's working out. Daedalus rush on TA, it's now picked up. You know, it's always a question if you're gonna get the crits, but if you get them at the right time, especially if it's splashing through, their team, you're just gonna chew them apart. And that burst damage, that's what they're banking on. If they can just kill off a hero like the Chen or the Enigma before they can drop their ults, that's going to be a big win and pretty much a one team play for them. With the Daedalus up, they group up mid, they start to pressure this lane just a little bit. Very defensive posture so far for the Dire squad. Sequential Gaming still leading in terms of farm and experience, but really at this point it's a minimal lead, and this will be turned around by one team fight. If it goes the other way for the Radiant squad, they will be winning that fight quite handily. No wards to spot this one out. They might have been seen by the creep wave though. Saw some pings going off there mid lane. Might have smoked just a split second too soon. This buys time for the Morphling to start pushing in that top lane. BKB, is it on the way? Yes it is. So now they have the CK to jump in first with the BKB, they have the OD to provide your utility, the Force Staff, the mech, and some good sort of backlines damage. TA will probably be the second one to charge on this fight, and then you have Enchantress sort of sitting in the backlines trying to kite around. If Infernity find the right opening, even against a team fight lineup like Sequentials, they can win the fight. But they have to find the right openings. If they get caught in a group, if they get picked off, then it's going to snowball the wrong way from there. But in spite of having so many carries, I like the items they've chosen. They haven't gone all for damage items, they haven't all gone for sort of traditional carry items. They've gone for a range of items that give you a little bit of everything, and, you know, using the hero's strengths to their fullest potential. You know, a lot of times we'll see teams just pick very greedy lineups, and then they'll play them greedily on top of that. They'll go for big farming items, but we're not seeing that from Infernity. They're really making the best out of, you know, what some might call a lineup that needs too much to be effective. For Sequential Gaming, I'm still sort of wondering what they're waiting for. They've got the BKB Blink on the Enigma. Godot is disgustingly rich. Actually, wait, did he sell that drum? Is that his drum? He doesn't have room for the drum. Oh my god, this is... You know you're a filthy rich Chen when you're just giving the courier a drum, man. This is like a newly minted millionaire who's just like tipping his waitress at I don't know, like a McDonald's or something. Not a McDonald's, like an Applebee's, like just leaving like a $400 tip. Godot's like, here, courier, have a drum. I don't need this. He could have had the Aghanims by now, so a little bit questionable. But this is gonna be trouble. Sunstrike and the Meteor, and he's gotta go inside the Astral Imprisonment, but he knows if he does, he's dead. No, he's gonna try and imprison the... I don't see him getting out of here, guys. I don't see him getting out of here, but there's your Sight Device. That's gonna be... No, not Sight Device. Excuse me, that's your Hex. That's gonna be a kill. Fumoffu is not going for the Scythe device. Quickly, he's going for the Yule Scepter. They get a pick, but one pick isn't really enough. It's not clear yet. Looks like Kux is going to go back for the shotgun. This game, shotgun, it'll be great against the Leshrac and the Enchantress. Those are the two big targets. But Chaos Knight with the BKB should be fine. TA with Refraction, pretty difficult to actually hit her at the right time. DD rune up on the TA. I suppose it could be a butterfly. But my point, I guess, is there are a couple of good targets for the Ethereal Blade, but there's not. This is not a game where it's just like a buffet. there's only a few items on the menu, mainly being the Leshrac. And the OD, you can try and go on him, but he's got Force Staff, he's got Astral Imprisonment, and he's got the mech, so it's a lot of ways from this escape. This item right here, though, this may be the biggest item pickup, not the most expensive, but the most game-breaking for any individual player. This team, it's not the Enigma with the Blink. For me, it's the Blink Hex from the Shadow Shaman. This is going to ruin a lot of heroes. A hero like OD, who normally can imprison himself, if you blink in and you Hex and you follow up with the Shackles, that's pretty much a guaranteed kill. And they can reset, rearm, reload, keep on doing it. Whenever they want, really, whenever the cooldown is there. But they got to start going soon. I would like to see this lineup just pressure a little bit more. Maybe they're waiting for the shotgun, if that's the item selection. He's got it in 1 gold. Will it be a shotgun? The longer this game goes, you would really think that Infernity Gaming have the edge. They have more carries. They have a lineup that's good in prolonged teamfights, and generally in late game, teamfights tend to last longer. They're getting towards the Scythe device on the OD. The BKB's been up, and even though Chaos Knight hasn't been farming a whole lot, he's getting close to his next item. Mass BKB could also be a pretty big concern for sequential. They really only have the Black Hole to deal with it, but aside from that, a lot of their damage will be negated. The Invoker is going entirely... He's really relying on just the Chaos Meteor, Sunstrike, Deafening Blast combo to do most of his damage, and BKB is going to cancel that out. Morphling is definitely the biggest hero on the map, but again, not by an overwhelming margin by any stretch. Whew. And this is that point in the game where both teams just decide they're not going to fight, and we get into a farm war. This man, a lot of pressure on VDK in these longer games. You know, it's one of these things where it's almost like a closer coming out of baseball, because you know you're coming in not rusty, but you haven't gotten warmed up. He's had to hit a couple of black holes early, but there just hasn't been many fights since then. So he's not getting to use his black hole repeatedly. That means, you know, maybe it's a little bit, he's not warmed up. Maybe it's a little bit more pressure on him to try and hit those next black holes. If he connects on them, that will pretty much win them the fight. If he doesn't, it could be big trouble. And the pressure top lane from Fumoffu. Oh no, they catch out Gore. TA with the Invisor, knock him able to pop it. That is an easy kill. And will they finally turn this into a push? Will they threaten towards the base? Fumoffu claimed that kill with the Sunstrike, and now he is booking it towards bottom lane. He's got quite an epic journey ahead of him. Traveling all the way down, but he should be able to get there in time. Morphling, nothing on him. What is he going for? It is nothing. I guess he's still holding on to his gold. There's got to be something in base, maybe. Well, we'll see later. Either way, morphing pretty... Okay, he's going for Butterfly. So he's got it. He just hasn't had it delivered yet. Would really like to have it in this fight. And here comes the siege, the death ball. They get the tower. This is getting a little too easily, I feel. Now this fight gets a lot harder. Cuck's just wailing away on those racks. No alacrity yet. Here comes the combo. The waveform in. Deafening Blast. Meteor. No, the Deafening Blast late. The black hole. Catching quite a few. In fact, it catches 3. Great black hole by VDK. Who needs warm up when you've got VDK handling the Enigma? Blinking. Odie was doing a lot of damage, but now he's shackled. There's another waveform. This Morphling is big. He's bad. And he's on fire, even though he's water. And they're going to get 4 kills, and with that, the racks. Looks like Sequential Gaming. In fact, it's a team wipe. It's a team wipe for Sequential Gaming. They are going to take a pretty one-sided affair in the end. It was slow. They made a few mistakes. Fumoffu got caught out at times. But they were just the better team overall this series. And they get 1 set of racks. They will claim more. It looks like there are no buybacks. And where is that buyback tab? There you go.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Anyone who could buy back now, it just wouldn't matter that much at this point. In fact, the GGs will come out. So you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A clean toe sweep. Your G Dota 2 Season 4 champions. The winners of this grand finals, they will be taking home 400 euros. It is Sequential Gaming from New Zealand. A little bit too much to handle for the Czech Republic squad for Infernity Gaming. Infernity Gaming went for something different with this lineup. I really liked the way that they constructed the lineup. I liked the item choices, how they tried to balance things out, but just a few too many carries in the end, and it just seemed like they didn't have enough heroes who could really team fight effectively. No big AoE ultimates, like the Chen heal, like the Enigma Black Hole. And in the end, it cost them.
It's just not fair.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And, well, it's that point in the game, guys, where we just wait for the game to end. Again, just one of these little things you get used to from casting the International. Just as soon as the game was over, as soon as the team GG'd, Valve just ended the game. There is a way for admins to do it, but not all admins know about it, and they're not always in the games to do it. So there you have it. Your champions for the G Dota 2 Season 4 Grand Finals. It is Sequential Gaming with the two stand-ins from Natural 9. Godot playing absolutely magnificently. To me, he's got to be the MVP of this series. 7-0 and 7 on the Chen. And in spite of the fact that he was pushing constantly, supporting his team, hell, he's got some swagger, man. He bought a drum for the courier, and that alone deserves a round of applause as well as your support. His Invoker in game number 1 was absolutely magnificent. Really, to me, he carried this team, but overall, they did all play quite well. That does it for this series. That does it for my cast for today, guys. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all those good things. The links you can find down below. And to follow me on Twitch, click that follow button up top. But I hope you enjoyed my casting. I hope you enjoyed this Grand Finals. And if you enjoyed these games, go ahead, support G Dota 2.